Let's take a look at this problem. We got f of x is equal to square root of x, and g of x is equal to x minus 16. And the first thing you're wanting us to find is f plus g. Well, we just add this function to this function. So we've got square root of x, put parentheses around it, put a plus between them, and then x minus 16. Now those parentheses aren't actually doing anything, so I can drop them. So we've got square root of x plus x minus 16. And that's this first part. Now, what is the domain of f plus g? Well, whenever you have a radical with an even index, your steps are to find the domain. You take what's underneath your radical, set it greater than or equal to 0, and solve it. Now, x greater than or equal to 0 is already solved. So to put it into interval notation, since there's a line underneath, then we'll put a bracket, and it's going to positive infinity. Now, f minus g, this part right here, we're going to, again, put parentheses around each function and put a minus between them. Now remember, if you have a negative in front of your parentheses, that flips the sign of everything inside. So this is going to become the square root of x minus x, plus 16. Now our domain. Again, when you have a radical with an even index, you take what's underneath your radical and set it greater than or equal to 0 and solve it. Well, this is already solved, so it'll be 0 to positive infinity again. The third thing, f times g. Well, again, I'll put parentheses around each function and put them next to each other, like that. Now this is a distributive property, so we're going to take the square root of x and times negative 16. Well, square root of x times x gives us x square root of x. Just put them next to each other with the x in front. Square root of x times negative 16 gives us minus 16 square root of x. Again, I put 16 in front. Now our domain. We again have a radical with an even index, so we're going to take what's underneath the radical and set it greater than or equal to 0. And interval notation, we do 0 and then positive infinity. Now divide. We got square root of x on top, and we got x minus 16 down below. Now there's no simplifying to do here, so that's our division. But let's talk about our domain. First off, let's look at this square root. Again, if you got a radical with an even index, you take what's underneath your square root, set it greater than or equal to 0, and solve. Now that's already solved. But we got an additional thing here. We got a fraction. And remember, whenever you have a fraction, you set your denominator equal to 0, and you solve it. So I'll set x minus 16 equal to 0, which gives us x equals 16. Now this is the value it cannot be. If I put 16 in for the x, I'll have 16 minus 16, or 0 in the denominator. So x cannot equal to 16. And x is going to be greater than or equal to 0. So, interval notation-wise, this is going to go from 0 to 16, parentheses, union, and then parentheses 16 to positive infinity. Again, the bracket on the 0 because there's a line underneath. It does not include 16, so that's why I go to 16. I do parentheses, union, parentheses 16. Those parentheses means it doesn't include 16. And that would be our domain.